Alright, Assalamualaikum. Welcome back. It's another day to work on things. Today, I'm also probably going to work on a bit of the video recording sync. I made a new hidden file, just like to be dealt with. Video making, that blog, scripts kinda. Okay. Let's say this is version 0.5. There's a good number of features are done, but like not everything's done. Um, I also need to do a file system reorganization. So let's just make sure we have exactly what we need and not more than that. Wolf, no. Boss one, no. Zoners, I'll keep most of them. I'll keep all the zoners. Okay. Player attacks, yep. Example player. The agent attacks, sure, I'll keep those in. Animations, I'll keep these in for now. Maybe not this since I did the other part that. Oh, wait, that's used by the Bible? Never mind then. Is it used by Fireball? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll keep that in there. Resources, just the stats, nations, and then the agent itself and their primary hurt boxes. Basic parts, character-based, enemy-based, entity-based, primary hurt boxes, the CPUs, the zoners, and other entities is just the hurtable player. Okay. System, animation system. Those are some defaults, those are some test animations, sure. Animation resource and tool, those are important. Attack components, hitbox, hurtbox, frame, attack manager, spawn projectile, spawn object, projectile area. Hitbox data, okay, those are all needed. I don't know if I need that, but I'll keep it for now. Autoload scripts, frame by frame mode, game settings, helper functions, hit stop and shake. Frame by frame mode, frame by frame mode. Oops. Does that work? Begin work? Yes, it does. On-hit audio manager, set camera. Okay. Base classes, behavior, and entity base. Yep. Entity systems, CPU systems. So their logic, their base, their settings. Wait, is this even used? Yeah, okay, let me get rid of that. 2216 0 known errors. Yep. Player systems, input manager, and move list. Yep. Share things, sprite manager. This is just to identify stuns, really. Frame tool. Yeah. What? Alpha JD, okay. Primary boxes, yeah. Stun manager, yeah. Okay, movement related, dash, gravity, movement, scale. These two are technically shared. Gravity and scale are shared. Yeah. I know they're stuck as movement systems, but okay, UI, default label settings, info of the channel GitHub, both the scene and the okay. Linkable text, on-screen combo tracker, on-screen combo tracker, simple health bar, simple damage number. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna install the Phantom camera right now just to see how they did their controls stuff. Okay. Here's your examples. Examples. And then your character body 2D just takes. That's one way to do it, I guess. Oh, this was one of my favorite add-ons I just wanted to see, though, and I knew it could, and our add-on input if input is FTLD. But yeah, okay. I just see that it's, confused. Wait. I really don't know. Oh, wow. Stay a while and read ahead. There's a bunch of camera effects going on that I just don't know what's happening, but oh boy, they've added some things. Cast follow. Yep. They've added some stuff. Okay. UI sign doesn't even have a script. What? It's the only thing with a scrap decker UI sign. Try to type non-item inventory. I'm confused by the script right now because okay, there's a UI except for jump. Yeah, so it's doing UI accept and also its own thing for pressing F. Yes. I guess that's one way to do it. Somehow. What is this type? Dictionary, string name dictionary. Oh, it's a nested dictionary. And it just returns some. What the hell? Just use UI right and left. Didn't need to do it this complicated way. Or key A, like seriously. I don't. No, okay, well, once again, that was just for me to get an understanding of how they did it. Okay, in that case, UI accept right and left are UI things, so I'd actually would have to do like the control C F. Okay, sure. Okay. In that case, I should also edit the input manager. Specifically this thing here. Uh, so is action press versus var test colon bool colon input dot put a second colon where I didn't need to dot fit equals dot action press add joy mapping. Hey, what's this? Adds a new mapping entry into the mapping database. Optionally update already connected devices. I don't know what that means. Dot skip cursor get access, get joy access, get whatever. Is action pressed by event, released by event? Is anything pressed? Is physical key pressed? Most of the rest of this just seems like node things. Okay. Since I'm not very familiar with develop the script for easier dynamic input remapping. I'm sorry? I did not notice that immediately. What part were you talking about? I assume it's the phantom camera, is my guess. Probably develop the script for easier dynamic input remapping. Okay, let me test that then. Unless I already deleted the phantom camera. I did. Okay, let me grab it again. Yeah, that was my assumption. Okay. Install. Okay. Project settings. Make sure it's on, yeah. It was here somewhere. This thing. Okay, and then the initial text was this, and this was called input get access. If I just rename it to test, does it change anything? I think installing it and reinstalling it has caused an issue. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, that crashed video. Okay, that makes sense. Mm. I don't have one that says move right or anything. But why is this broken? I broke it terribly. Yeah, I've definitely broken something. Okay, let me see if I can fix this. The thing is, I want to make a plugin or a tool or add-on for this specifically, which I just noticed at the input manager. I'm worried that it won't work properly if I keep it like this, which is why I want to figure out what to do better. I was going to ask Claude. So instead of having just is action pressed, I'm trying to have it as something that works across someone's other system that doesn't have the same names as my inputs. That's my concern. Because let's say someone, instead of naming their up, they named it like Kevin for some reason. It's not going to work with it. Theirs is not going to work with my system if I have it named as up. I could use the UI buttons, but those are like the arrow keys on the right, and I want the WASD keys. There's also physical keys, and I kind of want it to also work with like the controller too, so that you can just plug it in and try. Enter their input names. Not the worst idea. However, it does feel like there are better ways, just based on what the Phantom camera is doing. But would it make more sense to do it that way? Exports, because like they could just make it in their input map as well. Um, Also, this is the only time like the button is ever used, like use action press. I guess that's one thing I could do. The only times I think I ever use action press, which this can just fetch it for me. Um, where in my project does input dot action pressed and its variants are used ever? Just the script names. I suspect it's input manager dash and movement. This does not have it. Movement? I just not have it? Mm-hmm. Based on everything shared across this conversation, input manager, movement, jump handler is a function. Frame by frame mode's the only other thing that uses it. Mm-hmm. That's a comma, not a dot. Yeah, it's only input manager and frame by frame mode, and that's like 8 buttons. And that's it, or 9 buttons. Um, you can change that to whatever they choose for their input map. That's one way to do it. I'm not 100% sure if I like it that way, but I guess it's something I could try. Since I don't, it's the easiest way to do it right now with no experience. Okay, so inputs, fake inputs I have, I will put real inputs. Export category, inputs, input map, at export var string name. Okay, wait, no, up underscore up colon string name equals up or something. Do I need a dollar sign in? I forget if I need a dollar sign. What's the warning here? Declared but never used, and then okay. It's like declare up as a local variable. Okay. Up name. Sure. I'll go with that. Same format. Expand for these. And scroll down to this. Copy. Paste. It just redoes the same thing I did for one of them. Okay, I guess that's something. That's one way to do it, I guess. Um, mhm. So that's definitely probably the easiest thing to do. And then for the frame by frame node, it's these two. I'm gonna change this to so light kick and jump is more so uh I'm trying to make it with a mix of platformer controls and like Street Fighter's inputs with specifically just the light and heavies, skipping the mediums. Uh, the reason I've done it that way is I'm thinking platformer controls priority more primarily, and then for motion inputs, it's its own thing. I'm just using it as light kick for a button name. Uh, I think it's a little bit easier with like showing an example. Technically, just by pressing the button, I jump. But if I also do a motion on top of it, I also get a attack button, basically. So it's kind of doing two things at once. Uh, F, F. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna keep them the same still, mainly because I want it to be like this is the movement button. I just have it written as light kick because I didn't want to change too much on my input map. And also it helps remind me what buttons are which for the ones on my keyboard. Physically key underscore F. So like in Guilty Gear, if you're familiar with that game, GG Stride Matilda image this character. They have a bunch of movement options that on like specific special move inputs. I'm thinking this is the jump button and also the motions, the special moves that are movement based. But that's kind of why I've kept it as that name. I'll probably keep the name still. I don't know. This is TF. I do know about that. This one is just press UI right. That's slightly more generic for the frame by frame mode. It's an auto load, so I'm not able to, I think, use exports for it. Hmm. But this works enough for like generic buttons for me. I do lose the functionality on joypad for this stuff. Hmm. Not with actions you don't for physical keys yet. Um, what I assume that means is if I actually know what the UI right button is, I'm gonna guess it's D-pad. The frame by frame mode works on the move. Second. So I won't have frame by frame mode, that makes sense. Hold the attack button, it starts, and then wait. Okay. Alright, yeah, okay. I understand what that means now. So then what do I do about this line then? Because I have it set to whatever this menu button on is. Frame by frame mode. Button 4 on the joypad. Hmm. Oh, that's also annoying. Ew. This is set for me. The problem is if someone were to install this and not have the input map, I'm concerned that it won't work. Especially if I'm installing from the asset library. Uh, that's my main issue for this. Otherwise, it's like the system is mostly fine. How do I do that for an autoload script? Hmm. Autoload script is something that reads inputs, especially if your user's input map is not known. Do you have like an example you can point me to of someone doing that with an autoload script? Because I would love to have my stuff uh, frame forward and frame by frame mode. I don't want to be dependent on too many plugins for that. Mm. Just have things work if like someone installs it for the first time and they want to test it out, they can just do it and then they can change these buttons quickly. I like that a lot. Which I need to do the change form here. Up input. Name. Down. Okay, this is down. Uh, wait. LP. Mm, Something got messed up there. Okay. Yeah, that is not supposed to act that way. Did moving things around break everything? Oh, you were broken before. Um, okay. Why is hit detection broken? Hit detection is just completely broken. Okay, that's not good. I'm not too significantly worried because this is a branch. Wait, frames got 0. What component? Which frame timing? Is it that data? Is that it? Pause runner settings, main settings, 2010. That's the main error for you. Okay, hit detection is still not working. Less errors. Right, thank you. Thanks for the help on the input manager, though. That helped enough to think that it's fairly good. Okay. Restart Godot. Mm. wonder. Okay, that's fixed. Okay. Let's see the output. Really? Okay, how to set input of an auto load script in godot. Well, flexible has a drop if there's no method for storing information. And by more than one scene. Okay, there's no effect in C code, however, since some effect in C code in the static particle instance. Assigning already. Mm-hmm. Are you just gonna not work? Because if I have a global variable, that's fine. Okay, that's not working. In that case, project settings. At that point, you just go to input map and then add something and call it frame by frame mode. Yeah. Wait, can they static? Can you export static variables in Godot? Mm-hmm. GT0101, the export number is static. I'm guessing no. Now this is a concern because I'm like, okay, now we've made it per instance and that's bad. This is a problem and doesn't make the most sense to me, but it also adds a node to touch, which I'm more concerned about. Mm, that's concerning. This is concerning. Did I send it? Okay. Um, Completed features I mostly read on a readme mostly. Um, on step up. Okay, so this is where I think this is mostly important. Okay, set up for the project. Set up on a fresh install of the project. You need to do the following things. Regarding input, there are two files. Wait. What can I do with a plugin autoload? Create input map? Because input map, project settings, input map. One second, new script. 1 second. New script. 1 second. 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 1 Create new script. Add inputs. Create. Add an event. Erase action event. Creates events. Get dead zone. Get events. Add action. Erase action. Okay. So project settings, the input map. So add new action. Frame by frame node. Okay, so let's add action. String name. Okay. Quotation mark. Input map, add action. Input map dot map dot get action. Let me read the input map here. Things in the manage input event actions. Add action. Input event name. Input event action. All we did was add name, comma, string name. Okay. Add action. Action add event. Action string name. Input event. Okay. Event. Okay, let's just say frame by frame mode 2. I assume, comma, input event, my box, okay, input dot physical is physical key pressed, or is J button pressed? What returns an input event? an input events. What is an input event? I am not sure. Okay. Project settings. F beautiful. Add event. Well, I'm trying to do that. Input event. I'd like how to edit input map in godot using code. In the input map via code. No. I'm saying new, but like, what does new mean? Decode, get decode. Latin label printed on the key in the keyboard layout, which corresponds to one of the key constants. Key codes are meant for shortcuts expressed as standard Latin keyboard, such as Control S. Key shortcut. Edition of the input key event use this. Set. Um, global relay. Abstract base class for input events. C node underscore input. Trying to make a script that makes a new input in the input map. You answer that one? Or are you just broken today? This is the user here. RTS template. Okay. This script can be used to add extension functions to the editor. Do I need it then? Project settings input map. That's a lot of things, man. Um, Control F. Slowing down things. Mm, Trying to create a base template for a 2D RPG game. I want to get the tool script that configures various things in the engine to add. I want to get the tool script to add an update action in the project input map. I have created initial setup GD script with various settings that set this run, but when I try to get add actions to the input map, they are not persistent. Here's the script you're running. Um, let's try just copying this. Indent. Okay. 2-0, yeah, sure. Um, scene, scene, catch this and input CD scripts. Which is the name there. Colin, on this scene specifically, and I set it to 0. Go to project settings. There is no attack anymore here. Run it again? Close it. I'll check the project set. Cancel first. I still don't see attack. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then input map and project settings are not connected when running the script in the editor. Full script input map will be the one from the editor, not the game. You'll need to use object get then manually in project settings using the format input slash action name as the key and the value. Sample read more. Pause button left. Action. If not, else to do add checklist and already have it. I just copy this. I don't care. And then I do it instead. And we don't need this part. This one supposedly sets it. Underscore run is not a function in this. Okay, cool. We'll try and reload from this. Project settings. There's no click here. There's no click here. Restart godot, see if that does it. Quick, there it is. Okay, amazing. Awesome. Okay, alright. Cool, 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 cool. Now, if I do it on a node, change this to P1, run this script. I need to sign it first. Run it, close godot, reopen. Project settings, input map, make it still set to 0. I'll just put something. Okay, so it didn't work when it was set to a node, which is another important thing. Oh, it wasn't called a ready function. Okay. Let me go deal with this one. Right, I'm back. Let's test it. Right, reload from disk. Project settings. Doesn't say anything now. Restart Godot. Check the project settings now. Input map. Okay, excellent. There we go. That's one way to do it. Perfect. Okay. Hmm. Click the action. Okay. So we'll call this setup. Okay. Yeah, just like so we've done a setup. Let's go just add export. Cool. Equals true. Okay. So func add. Okay. And then I'll just have one that's like func remove. Okay. So this is what I need to do. And let me just write a dictionary of string name comma action. Okay. key formats. You go like this. Then we get hmm, I need the property, not the input event key. Unless actually, there's no equal sign. That's the problem. Okay. Um, but then I can't set the button, so I have to go ahead and your, you know, just key. That seems better. Okay. Okay. And then if Claude decides to work at all, um, populate with my input map, append the number to all values. Is it gonna work? Probably not. Oh, wait, it seems to be doing it. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's most of them, so it's fine. Okay, F, right, A, up, down, light kick, light punch, okay, light kick, heavy punch, heavy kick, okay, joy button, why does light punch sit to the left shoulder? I think we just read it wrong. X is light punch, Y is heavy punch, A is light kick, B is... That's convenient that they're based off of the, um... Mm-hmm. Right, I also need joy access. Username, he's gone. X left, Y left, X right, Y right. Project settings. Right, joy axis 0, joypad axis 0, joypad axis 0. Left stick right. Right stick right. Joypad access. Right. Joy access. This sounds right though. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. X is left, Y is right, X, Y, X, Y. How do I set right and left? Left stick. How do I do this? Mm-hmm. How to set joy access right in code godot. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll call this left right. And this up down. Just remove these. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then project settings, input map, heavy kick, fake inputs, I don't need, and menu. Menu, escape, and joypad 6. Back, defab, left, defab, guide, invalid, messenger maximum. What is this button? Start Xbox menu. Okay, so that's that part. Action equals this, else action events dot append. This would have to be in a forward 4. Hmm. Okay. Dot physical key code equals I. I'm using a for loop in the dictionary returns what specifically? Uh, for I in dictionary like keys equals. Let's actually do, sorry, let's just do I. Instead of a dictionary, we get, what do we actually get then? But is string name? I'm passing a little bit more than just a, not passing just a string name entity. Okay. Set up a helper function to do the looping. Input event. Head and linking crush, but yeah. Okay, so you're on setup. The dictionary has the name I want and the key I want to set. Or the name I want and the button I want to set. So name and comma button name input. Okay, comma input is a variant, which is just this thing. Hi. So why is it set up like that? Here versus the other one. Why is it set up like that, but over here it's literally just the name of the thing? Try axes and max. Oh no, man. Okay. We have a dictionary that gives us the input. Or do I have to make 3 separate functions for this? One for key, one for... Um, so that handles key. This is key. The rest should be fine. This should be the... If I go like this, it breaks. Okay. Oh, this is a very long list, which is input name, comma, null. Okay, I think that would remove it. Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking in the input name up here. Then we take the actual input, assign the actual key. We then check if it already exists. If there's no action, if it exists, do this. Otherwise, do this. If the action already exists, events.append, action.events.append event. So add the new key specifically. Well, I feel like I'm getting closer. That's on 0.2, in my opinion, is the default, so why change it? Project settings dot get input name. Action event index pressed strings. Okay. This is the action's name, usually an existing action. Event index set. How do you get the real event index in an action this event corresponds to from events defined for this action? If native one, a unique ID will be used, and actions pressed with this ID will need to be released with another input. Let me shrink this thing. Action and its dead zone, and then the events. Name, dead zone, and event. Okay. is actually action dot. It has events, but it also doesn't tell me anything. Let's try to type this. Which is a dictionary. Input slash whatever the input name is. And it's a dictionary default event. Input event action. Go down a page. Which bit's coming in? I'm going to try it. If it sets all of the keys, I'll say sure. Try it once. Close it. Close. Restart. Project settings, input map. Really not me. Okay. Now, if I try to do the same and set null, oh, they opened my door. Oh, they tried, but they failed. Okay. Open disk. Restart. They're gone. They're gone. Okay, cool. Yes, that works. The name is just not okay. Let's just do comma. Remove equals false. So Control C. If remove run this one, else run this with action. Okay. Okay. Now the problem is this thing depends on access key, etc. This section. Okay. To make this section work for all three. Alrighty. So that is one way to do it. Run this scene and you'll get your inputs. And then this can be set as an auto load to give the default layout. Um, um, this script sets a default control layout um, based on the user's, sorry, on the developers control scheme. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. That's. I really should have recorded like a video today, man. I got distracted with like, okay, do I need a video on inputs? No, because I'll just automatically give them to you. I guess. Sure, sure, sure. hmm In that case, like for the project, no, sorry. For project settings, when you go to plugins, you'd be like enable fightvaina default controls. Maybe. That's what I'll call it. Mm-hmm. Controls, which are bad but work for testing. Say, I want one day to just see someone destroy other people using a literal keyboard in fighting games. That's actually would be really interesting. Right. Okay. Um, I'm gonna call it there. It's past 5. It's almost 5:30, which is later than I was planning to do this. But yeah. I'm Asana. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something about input management, and it might be helpful for when I want to do custom controls for other people. Yeah,